we look at young people in leadership. And obviously to join me discuss this very important topic is Mr. Mubiana Isaac Tawila. He is an aspiring candidate for Kanyama constituency right here in Lusaka province. Mr. Tawila, good to see you and welcome.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In forgotten stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In forgotten stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Join me, Amazing Katamanda, on the weekly gospel show for those exciting and interesting interviews with your favorite gospel
Hold on to me when it's too dark to see. You cannot put your power back to
And this time around, we are bringing to you entertainment news and the countdown, as you guys are able to nominate your top 3 favorite music videos of the week. Remember, it's every Saturday at 10:45. You can also catch repeats every Monday at 10 hours. Camnet TV is not just another time.
Hello there, lovely, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. Sincere apologies for that technical glitch. However, our technical team is on top of things, and we are back. And thank you so much for still joining us. Now, we do have Mr. Mubiana Isaac Tawila, who joins us. He is an aspiring candidate for Kanyama constituency right here in Lusaka province. Mr. Tawila, good to see you and welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm incredibly honored to be here.
Okay, fantastic. Honored to have you here. It's good that young people are expressing interest in leadership positions. Let's begin. We have seen a lot of young people come to the fore that they would like to contest. Come 2026, they would like also to take part in the electoral process. Right. Just bring us up to speed. Where is the inspiration coming from? Where is this drive or intrinsic motivation coming from?
Well, I should say it may depend from persons to persons. And I think the general perception is that it is our democratic right. Right? For example, you look at the Constitution will tell any person that wants to vie for the Member of Parliament seat should be above 21. That's a young person.
Exactly.
That's a young person. And so, firstly, I would say it stems from the constitutional rights that we have, and we have to enjoy them as young people. Further, I think it's the marginalization that has been experienced over time. Young people have been ignored for a long time.
Okay.
For a long time. This is evident in, for example, we can go to the number of seats in Parliament. These seats, the majority is held actually by people that are not youths. And so young people need to be included. And this urge has been nurtured because of the prolonged delay. Okay. And so this is why we're seeing a number of people just coming on board and saying, we want to be included. You see, the future is for young people. But most importantly, the old folks, our leaders, our elders, need to begin to carry us along right now so that we are not left. It's like going into a future tomorrow, leaving your young ones behind and not exposing them to the life that is ahead.
Are you willing as young people to be carried on into the future? For instance, a case in point is some young parliamentarians that have exhibited questionable behavior on the floor of Parliament, and in other sectors of society as well. We see how young people conduct themselves, engaging in behavior that is questionable. My question to you, Mr. Tawila, is, are young people willing to be carried on, or for the mantle of leadership to be passed on to them? Are young people ready?
Affirmatively, we are. And now this is seen in various examples. Let me start by saying our founding president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, you then realize that he began his active politics at the age of 23. He was serving under the African National Congress at that age, right? And we are able to see and learn something. What if he said, you know, I'm young, I'm scared and everything. But most importantly, we're able to see what history has done for young people. And secondly, look at the the amazing trades that are happening currently. Talk about the people that are owning massive companies right now. Talk about the level of influence that young people have in terms of innovation, in terms of their academics. This is a sign that young people are ready. You actually realize that a child, when they become so interested about the home stuff, how to manage home. Like, for example, I remember one time my mom comes to me and says, go and buy this, go and buy this. There's a time I said, what if we buy this?
Okay.
What if we buy this? And when a child begins to show interest, departing from a childhood stage, and I feel this roar that is going around where you hear, I want to stand, is a sign that young people are ready. And we cannot, of course, quantify this from every young person. No. We are going to have to look for young people that indeed exhibit this. And we are the young people that are doing that right now.
Okay, fantastic. Now we do have a segment known as Zooming Headlines, where we look at the various daily tabloids and what they're saying, Mr. Tawila. Let's kindly go to our newspapers this morning so that our guest can have his 2 cents regarding the headlines. Okay, we go straight to the Mass newspaper. Now it comes the screaming headline there: Save Zambia from crocodile jaws. Opposition have no choice but to come together ahead of 2026, says Changala. An image there of Assembly, her owner, Madam Nelly Butete Kashumba Muti. And we do have Member of Parliament there for... Okay. A sub-headline, UPND threatens to go personal on mast editors. Sub-headline there, facilitate, not lead amendments, LAS councils government. Which one are you going for, Mr. Tawila?
Let's talk about the opposition uniting.
Okay.
You see, the democratic belief has to be accompanied by action.
Okay.
And this is where we are open to receive the voices of other people commenting on governance issues. And so this is the essence of having an opposition, to offer checks and balances, to criticize, for their voices to... And so we need the opposition to actively be seen as an opposition. Okay. And so I agree that the opposition has to come together right now. It is so important because we need to have fresh perspectives, fresh ideas. We need to have different people that are able to criticize positively to what needs to take us forward as a nation. And so it is not an emotional statement. It's actually a very logical aspect that despite the emotions that are around, people have to put them away because of our democratic belief. We need to uphold it by joining together, putting all emotions aside, like I said, but building a strong opposition. And this is not limited to any opposition right now, but any person can be that opposition.
Okay, fantastic. Let's go to another newspaper. The Mast had the Speaker of the National Assembly and Nakonde Member of Parliament, Honorable Lucas Mumba, on their front page. Okay, we go to the news diggers. Speaker goes brutal on PF. The way you exhibit disorderly conduct in Parliament is the same in your party. We are looking for an equity partner for Zampa government. Zambia's economy outlook improving, the World Bank. Let's celebrate fuel price reduction, Chief Musoko Twane. Okay, which one are you going for, sir?
Let's talk about the Speaker's issue.
Okay, so yesterday the Speaker of the National Assembly, Madam Nelly Muti, did issue a statement. And that statement prompted patriotic faction member aligned to the late 6th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, which saw them leave the House, led by Honorable Brian Munduvile, and some of their arguments were that Honorable Mao Sampa should be recognized as leader of the opposition. And after the Speaker made those remarks, that the disorderly conduct they exhibit in Parliament, that's what it is in their party, they decided to walk out. Your 2 cents.
And you see, this is I actually agree with what she said, because if you are not united, if you are not united, you cannot go forward. You cannot be progressive.
Okay.
And this is seen even in how currently the PF has been conducting themselves, especially in the National Assembly. This is because, you know, if you are in oneness, if we know what is going on, because as it is, we don't know who is leader. We don't know we don't know the structure, in my opinion, subject to be corrected. And so it is quite expected for this behavior, not until going forward, maybe we are taught what is there on the table formally. Because as it is, I'm not clear. And so I think this is just an honest opinion from the Speaker.
Okay.
Says, please organize yourself so that we are able to you're also able to organize yourselves right in the National Assembly.
Okay. We'll be watching National Assembly today, especially what will be happening in the House, seeing that Honorable Brian Mundu William Porokoso, Member of Parliament, did issue a statement to the media, to the general public through the media yesterday at Parliament buildings, where he did make mention that there will be disruption in Parliament today if Honorable Mao Sampa is not recognized as leader of the opposition. Interesting. We'll be keeping an eye on what will be happening at National Assembly today. Let's go to our last newspaper. Okay, we go to the Daily Nation. It comes with a headline: Bill 7 illegally invalid laws. Says the constitutional amendments are in breach of the Constitution. Recommends that government should seriously consider abandoning plans to amend the Constitution until after the general elections next year. Okay, on top there, PF MPs threaten disorder in Parliament. I'm just from saying that. Yeah. Concord ruling on Bill 7 challenged. I can see a photo of Council Isaac Mwanza there. Then below that, we have a picture or image of President Alain Hichilema, and there's a sub-headline there which says HH 2026 victory guaranteed somewhere. Okay. The UPND media director, they are being quoted. Calabar pleads with HH over ECL burial. End of Tazama monopoly, cause of fuel prices reductions. Dr. Mwanga. Mining alone can't deliver prosperity, warns World Bank. Which one are you going for, sir?
Now let's talk about Bill 7 legally invalid.
Okay, fantastic.
Well, you see, the adoption of the Constitution has got processes to it.
Okay.
And among the three that is there, you need to either consider the referendum, the Constituent Assembly, or the National Assembly, the Parliament. As it is currently, we're using the Parliament. And so, regardless of the Parliament adopting the Constitution, we have a belief that the will and the aspiration of the people are behind the members of Parliament that the people elected.
Okay.
And so every time when members of Parliament either vote for or against, it's a sense of belief that the people have said what their leaders have said.
Okay.
And so, and so seeing the laws challenging it, I think this is what their job is. And I think one of the reasons they bring up is that it is not the right time, especially because the elections are quite very due. And in my opinion, we also need to have, this is my opinion, we also need to have an understanding that the law is progressive.
Okay.
The law is progressive, and we can come back to this issue maybe after the elections, which is a very valid reason, because it might make people biased because why are you so close to the elections? What are you trying to do? And so people can be very alert, very clear in mind after the elections, and I think that should be the right time to have these discussions.
Okay, fantastic. Away from National Assembly and constitutional matters, let's now go back to Kanyama constituency and look at some of the challenges that are in Kanyama constituency, such as the issue that has to do with roads, poor drainages, the deployable roads, of course, and so many other social and economic challenges. Mr. Tawila, let's begin. You are elected as Member of Parliament. You are given a chance to lead as a young person. What challenge are you addressing top of the agenda?
That's a very excellent question. So the challenges that Kanyama constituency is facing are not new.
Okay.
These are long-standing challenges. Like you mentioned, we've got very bad road system. I mean very bad. And this is actually made even worse for our people who are marketeers. This gets to be extremely challenging, especially when we have the rainy season.
Okay.
You know, our place has extreme floods. And so roads need urgent work. And I've been saying this over and over. We don't need a leadership that is going to offer theories. We need a leadership that is going to do the work. The roads in Garden Park are bad. The roads in Chinika are bad. The roads in Chibolia are bad. These roads have been pending for a long time. I should say, like I earlier stated in my last interview, the only roads that are currently built as of now are roads that the UPND government found. That's me to say the members of parliament currently have not touched that area. Okay, and that's a necessity because the people use it for modes of transportation for their businesses. And this gets to be so challenging because of the floods. We've got very bad floods. And these floods need urgent work because looking at how the last rainy season was, it was so bad to the extent that the president himself had to go there. And this is not work that is left for the nation. This is work that is left for our constituency leaders. How do you tell me you come into office in 2021 and the first thing is not the flood? Because this is August, you come into office. What are you telling us about the floods? In fact, the question is now, what are you doing? Or
It's the system failing the people.
I would say both matter. But when I said leaders are failing, let me bring it bold to say, you see, leaders are expected to be the solution. In fact, leaders should know what to do in every given circumstance. At least they should offer something. For example, right now, you're able to agree with me that that of course the disposal of the finances is not only up to the member of parliament to say, okay, there's a structure already with the CDF funds, and that's the 60% that is allocated, the 60% of the 30 million that is allocated to the projects, and the 40 left is divided among the empowerment, the loans, and everything. And so I would also agree that the 40%, the 60% rather, that is left has got its own process to follow. But I believe leaders should not only depend on those resources. You see, there's a beauty of being a leader. For example, I'll tell you one thing. An MP right now can go to all the multinational companies, maybe that work near our area, and strike a deal. Every company has got what you call the CCR. They've got a social responsibility to our people. So the creativity should flow towards the interest of the people rather than hoping that the processes that are aligned for CDF should do the job, because they're only going to do but a little. And so creativity between the leaders should begin to flow.
So what are we missing? What are we missing there?
We are missing leaders that love their job, that love their people well enough to not go and sleep the whole night at home. Trust me, how would your people be suffering of the same issues and these are not pressing issues? Because it's so easy right now for even an example of there is Monsanto company along Mumba Road. This is now constituency. You've got Haiga along Makenimo, around that area. These are people you sit on the table, you close deals to say, dear colleagues, let's work on our area. How do we work on our area? They're able to contribute. And this is where you see leadership thriving. If these things fail, what does it mean? It actually also allows that the leader goes outside. And this is just a place of communication because he's got the influence, he's got the backing of the government, he's got the interest of the people that he's standing on. And so you can't tell us you're depending on the CDF. I'll make this very clear. I heard one time the speaker in the National Assembly was rebutting back to one member of parliament to say, how are you expecting the government to always come through? Because the challenges there need urgent work and we might delay. What does this therefore imply? It means our leaders should have enough love for our people to go and think outside the box. The system will always fail you. And the excuse to say the system is failing us. These monies are structured. You need all these. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of processes. Exactly. And so we can't depend on such systems if we're going to see development in our communities. We need leaders that are innovative, leaders that can go the extra mile. And going the extra mile actually means engaging other people apart from your government. It can be the private sector.
There has been a concern that you, the learned, educated, literate young people or Zambians out there, shy away from engaging into leadership roles, particularly when it comes to governance matters. You'd rather be in the corporate world and stay away from engaging in governance matters. Hence, we see individuals with questionable behavior ascending to leadership positions, and they occupy these offices, different offices, and you begin to question why certain decisions or why development is not being delivered to your various constituencies. However, some argue that the kind of leaders you have is a reflection of society. So who is to blame in this case?
You see, leadership is not a summation of one's competences.
Okay.
It's a summation of one's mind and heart.
Okay.
And so, like you said, we've got so many young people that shy out of governance and run into the corporate world and build their careers. And those are brilliant minds. And those are not brilliant hearts. Those are not brilliant leaders. Those are professionals. And a leader is not a professional. I think a leader is one that moves with the heart first. And so you can have great minds that never achieve anything for the people because they only look about building themselves. And so a leader is a selfless person. Like I said, it's not a summation of the mind.
How do you recognize that this is a selfless individual?
This is what I'm coming to. A leader is one that says, there's a challenge there. There's a challenge there. You know, it's amazing. You all see the challenge, but not everyone would feel the prompts to do something about it. And that's how you define who a leader is. It's their ability to say, this is wrong, meaning they have a definition of what is right. And so you have many learned people that don't. It's not even their concern. They are not moved when they see the people of Kanyama passing through the challenges, especially the flood. You talk about a woman putting her child on the back, walking in a flood with water that is almost half her waist. They're not moved. They're not moved. But a young person, an old person that says, wait a minute, what's going on here? What can we do about this? That's what makes a leader. Because let me bring it to the Bible. You talk about Saul. You know, the first king of the people, the first king of Israel. The people of Israel said, "No, we are tired. We want to see a visible king." They chose the competences. He was tall and everything. They chose the competences. But that's not who a leader is. A leader is not the summation of the competences. It's a summation of the heart and the mind, and the ability to say this is wrong and we must do the right thing. And so this is the margin for me. I feel it's about stepping up. Then you define the leader. You don't force them to step up. They step up. And secondly, our people have a role in choosing the right leaders and the bad leaders. They are partially the reason we have good and bad leaders. Trust me. Let's say a leader comes and say, this is a leader that has not been present in your constituency and comes, gives you guys a little bit of money there and there, invites you to his house, you know, invites some few leaders in the community and gives them a little money. What that does to our people is but forgetting that this is the person they've only seen come through for them in this time. And what happens? People choose the leader and they vote. And now later on, when the challenges come, they begin to say this leader, that. It's because they chose with their eyes closed.
Okay.
And what does that therefore mean? It means the people are to be blamed for the leaders they choose, because we've got a system that makes people choose bad leaders over and over, because our people are hungry. Our people need quick work. So every time our people see any fashion, you know, see any throwing of money, it's one thing. They want to run that side. And so this is a crop of bad leaders. Then at the end of the day, Tingo leader, Tingo Dandawa, that's a crop of bad leaders. And this is why we young people are saying, look at me, I'm not giving you anything right now, but I promise to give you my time and my mind. And this is what you define as leadership. This is a speck of leadership now.
Okay.
Yes. And so this is what I would term as the margin. It's both leaders are to be blamed for the kind of leadership that we have, bad leadership or good leadership we have, but also our people, because at the end of the day, they choose the leader based on their preference, based on their tradition of perceiving to say, this is how a leader, an aspiring member of parliament and the president should be. This is how they should look. It's not about how they should look. It's about what they're able to do for our people. And it starts from how they communicate.
Okay, fantastic. Let's come to the solutions. But what are some of the solutions to the challenges that people in Kanyama constituency face?
Before I answer that question, let me highlight some of the, let me just mention them first. We talked about the poor road network. That's very bad. We talked about the drainage system that is failing us. Not failing us as of now, has been failing us for a long time.
Okay.
We're talking about unemployment levels. Unemployment levels. We're talking about these unemployment levels leading to our young people of titled junkies.
Okay.
You know, criminalizing our people. And so there are a number of challenges. And now, like you asked, what are some of the solutions? The solution is we need a quick work. The quick work starts from looking at the bad drainage system that we have. What does it therefore mean? It therefore means that we should construct new ones.
Okay.
These are more larger. Secondly, we go for rehabilitating the ones that we already have. And this is not the government's work only. This is where we also bring our people on board into waste management. Because, of course, we can say, Tidibema drainage, but some of the drainages that we have, people have been throwing litter there. And so, Manzi Yakabuela, water is no longer able to flow as it's supposed to. And so, this challenge is not the government only. It's not the leaders only. It's both our people. And so what the leadership I'm bringing into providing a solution to this is having intentional sensitization programs on us as a community. We can say once a month, every month, we have whole community members coming, the young people, the old. We are cleaning our own area because we are the most affected. Secondly, we are going into, of course, constructing new and deeper, wider drainage. And of course, ensuring that we have enough connectivity where we know that this water is flowing to an appropriate end. And so in that area, I think this is what should be done. But most especially the drainages, I believe we also need to engage our people. And this will help us a long deal. And this is starting from the most affected places. Talk about Kanyama and Garden Park. Those places need that work right now. And the most affected areas in terms of the floods can also benefit from the resettlement programs. And this is not to the whole constituency as of now because of limited resources. We can begin to say, okay, Wako Garden House, Wako Garden Park, these most people that were affected in the previous season, we say, Tiambira Naimwe, Apatiko Kukisana, just for these mines. Okay, so we need to see a leadership that is already thriving on my own thoughts like that. And don't send experts, engineers every year to tell us, we know that this has never been, it's not been a residential area for these times. We know that theory. And so we need solutions. We need a quick work. And I'll tell you, this is the energy we bring as young people in that area. Talking about the issue of unemployment. It's so disheartening to see these issues even happening in our constituency. Kalima constituency is a very small place. We have about 6 wards. It's big, but it's manageable. And that therefore means is that, like I said, we have a number of companies that are working in our area. It is easy for our people to benefit from employment there if we have leaders that are able to sit on the table and talk to our people. It's easy to draw policy lining to say, part of your social corporate responsibility, we want you to say, at least employ 40% of our people coming from our area. And we can rationalize that on what's doable and beneficial to both ends. But if we're not seeing works like that being started, then we're not ready to sort unemployment. And unemployment also leads to crimes. People have got nothing to do. What do? We have junkies now. These are people that are picking things from. There's actually a sensitive issue now. They're pulling these, they're cutting them and going to sell them. What are we doing as leaders? And this is what we're supposed to be avoiding. And so people find me insane when I bring out this suggestion. But imagine what a company for a constituency would do. It can be out of that CDF money, let's say the project, it can be just for this year. Let's say, let's get about 2.6. Let's build a tower company or a block company, Tipangama block, right? And we say this is owned by us as a constituency. And we are employing this number of young people permanently. We are subtracting from the unemployment number. And hence, we are bringing safety slowly to our people. Because people that are without jobs are the people that are dangerous in our places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Tawida, as we begin to wind up, let me draw your attention to constitutional amendments or constitutional amendment Bill 7. Bill 7 has been put on hold by President Hakainde Hichilema, but there are some polarized opinions, obviously, from different sectors of society. Let me get it from you. What are your 2 cents on Bill 7?
Like I said, this is my opinion. My opinion is that the law needs to change with time to meet to the prevailing demands of society. Like as of now, we now have the cyber law. We didn't have it before. We didn't have it 50 years ago. Why? Because the need has arisen now because of the advancement in technology. Okay. And so that should be the mirror that we also view the law. And so in my opinion, I feel it's not every article that has been proposed. Remember, a proposal is just a proposal. It shouldn't bring us to fight and kill each other and insult each other. It's just a proposal. That's what it is. A proposal is subject to be rejected or accepted. And when I looked at the articles that have been proposed to be amended, it's not everything that is supposed to make us fight. This is for me as a young person. I'm an advocate that youths, young people, should be considered in governance, in leadership roles. And for example, Article, I believe 48, that has been proposed to be amended, brings a leeway where the youths, the women, and the people with special needs, the gifted people differently, should be included to the appointment to the National Assembly. And for me as a young person, this is, yes, we need this. So it's not everything that is contentious in my opinion. And I believe, speaking for other young people, that is what we need. If we have a legislation, especially in the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, that says you have no choice but to pick young people, to pick women, that's a good source of refuge for us young people. And so I'll also pick another article talking about the vacancy of the ministers prior to the elections, 30 days. That should be accepted, because we don't want them to be, utilizing the resources. And it's not everything that is all right, but in my opinion, such articles are very progressive.
Okay.
And of course, since our people have decided that this is not the right time, we can do this next year. But such articles like the inclusion, the enhancement of the young people, I think for me that's a good one. We need that to be enshrined in the Constitution, because that would give us a safeguard as young people to say we have the right now, not just because you want us, because you may never want us, because the Constitution tells us we should. And I find that very progressive.
Okay, fantastic. The people of Kanyama constituency are watching, the people of Zambia are watching right now. What is your word to them? Amongst a lot of things that are happening, we still have the impending burial of the 6th Republican president. The matter is in court right now, in the South African High Court, and a lot of social economic issues that are currently happening. What is your word as a young person to all the stakeholders involved in this particular matter, and of course to what Zambia is currently going through, the good, the bad, the highs, the lows? What are your concluding remarks as we wrap it up?
I should start by saying it's a very disheartening time, and a very hurting time, most especially to the Lungu family and to every Zambian. And so, as a young person, there's been a lot of observation and note-taking from the experiences. And one key note is that this was a time, and this is a time where we put feelings aside, grievances aside, hatred aside, and we unite, we reconcile, and we heal as a nation. Okay. This was what was supposed to be. Unfortunately, it may not be so, but this was what was supposed to be. I'll tell you one thing. As a young person, when I look at the legacy of former President ECL, it's incredible how that he showed one trait that stands out the most for me. This is, he stepped up when he was needed. That's what leadership is. He wasn't prepared to be president. He didn't have a plan, a career planned out that I want to be this. It came unexpected after Sata died. And he didn't deny the cry of the Zambians to say, I'm not ready, my incompetencies cannot match up to this level. He stepped up. And I think that's what I as a young person pick out for. I said, we need to step up. And for me, this is a legacy that he strongly lives, that is embedded in my heart. As young people, we step up when it matters the most. As young people, at every level of influence we're at, when it matters the most, we should step up and not cower down. And he served the country in that perspective. What other lessons are there? This is also a time for the legal framework of our nation to begin to pick notes from, to say, okay, we didn't have a piece of legislation that defines, structures how the former president should be buried, and this is now that need that we can pick up from.